Welcome to the Growth Unstoppable Evolution. That's right, we did a bit of a rebrand over the past week. I think the new name kind of captures the essence of what I envision the show doing going forward. So let me tell you specifically what that's going to look like. Because our mission is to cultivate and inspire the growth mindset within you so that you may evolve and be unstoppable. Each week, we bring you insights from guests who have powerful stories and wisdom to impart, as well as tactics and tools for you to use on your own journey. The bigger the arsenal of your mind, the more prepared you are to tackle life's challenges and evolve to that next level of success. I'm your host, Steven Zavartnik. Today's episode, we're talking about how the power behind the questions you ask yourself can greatly impact your day to day. Look, your subconscious mind never stops listening. That's why how we talk to ourselves is extremely important. Some research done, the self talk you have, like whether you're telling yourself positive things or negative things, first of all, the negative stuff is stickier, so it sticks more. And you have two kinds of self talk. So, self talk is just in your head, like what you're telling yourself internally, not out loud. But then when you add the out loud component on it, it makes it hit home so much more. So, when you really unpack that, if you're in an environment that's not conducive to you and other people are telling you maybe negative things about yourself and causing you to question it, you're going to start repeating that, and that just becomes a negative cycle in your life. So you really have to be intentional and cognizant of this and do what you can do to combat it. I think a great way to control the self-talk and just one, make sure we're more engaged in life, two, is just to ask questions. Questions are very, very powerful tools. Think about it. Have you ever been with a group of friends who you're talking about something and all of a sudden a movie comes up and you're like, oh, trying to remember, I can't remember that actor's name in this movie, and you go and you go and you go, and it drives you insane until somebody figures out the name? Maybe that's me or every other person on the planet I've met, because we all go nuts when we can't remember something like that. But then, if the same question is asked and you've never seen the movie, or you saw the movie and you know you have no idea who the actor is, you know right away that you have no idea. So you either know that you have no idea, or you go crazy because you might not necessarily remember it. Or you can be one of those freaks of nature that remembers all of that stuff right away. I usually do, if it has zero relation to anything. The brain's a weird thing. But the point is, it's really interesting that when you have known a piece of information in the past, that you know you knew it at some point, you know it's somewhere deep hidden within your memory. You just got to find it. And all of a sudden, how many times, well, nowadays we look it up on our phones, but before, you would go by and it'd be like an hour later and somebody'd be like, oh, this guy. And they'd get it. It's because just simply by asking the question, you set your brain in motion to go solve the problem. We love solving problems. So what I want you to do is kind of use that same psychology to set your brain on a course to answer questions that are going to serve you and help you throughout the day. Asking yourself questions throughout the day, whether it be written or just pulling back and having a few questions to pull out of your back pocket, mentally inside your head, can be extremely powerful and game changing. And so I want to share with you a process that I use. And now we might have all different kinds of people here. Maybe you've never thought about the fact that you ask questions or have never intentionally asked a question throughout the day. Well, I'm going to give you a framework to help you start that practice. And maybe you're a pro at doing this, like some of the other people I work with, and this is something we do regularly, especially as my work in my work as a high performance coach. Got it. That's all about the questions that you're asking to stay engaged and in alignment. And if you're somebody who's more skilled at this, take this time to reflect on that. Maybe you need a new bank of questions, and those questions might not be serving you. Maybe you ask yourself the same questions and need to freshen up, or maybe this will just get you to add some more to your pool of questions that you like to go through to keep yourself aligned. And so, what we're going to do, we're going to talk about 3 types of questions that I think are really important to help us have a great day and to be who we want to be. And so, the first one is to start your day off right. So, we got 5 questions to help you just kickstart your day. And then these are just examples. I really want to empower you guys to create your own questions in your own system. This is, again, just an example. The next set of questions is going to help you maintain alignment or, if necessary, pull you out of a rut. And then the final set is about reflecting on the day. We've talked about that in a previous episode, but it's important to revisit here because this is such a simple tactic and technique for you to use on a daily basis. So let's dive in. Let's start with asking powerful questions to start your day off on the right foot. And the first question is just pretty basic. What is my mission today? Just start it off. Hey, what's the mission? What's the goal of today? Today, this is how I need to what I need to accomplish. This is who I want to be. Kind of just all encompassing. And guys, don't overthink these questions. They're designed to be daily questions, and you don't get a prize if you answer it right. This is for you. So whatever comes to your mind, real quick, usually like the first thing that pops in your head, just go with it because it's usually what's right when you're asking yourself questions like this. Just go, what's the mission today? Next question, what am I looking forward to? What's something you're looking forward to? Maybe you're looking forward to grabbing coffee with somebody. Maybe you're looking forward to going out to dinner with a friend or a presentation you have to give at work. Or, I guess we can't do a lot of those things due to the current pandemic. So, looking forward to connecting with somebody over Zoom or Hangouts if you're worried about security right now. Something like that. Give yourself something to look forward to. Get you excited. Everybody needs to have something to look forward to every day. All right, next question to start your day off on the right foot. What must I get done today? This is similar to the mission question, but this is a specific task. And this kind of tips back to our productivity episode last week. So what's a specific task? No matter how big or small, maybe it's a phase of a project or just something you want to get done. If you decide that in the morning and then you do it, and you do that over and over again every day, what are you doing? You're building confidence and you're keeping promises to yourself. And that is huge. Just doing that one thing alone. If all you get out of this is, hey, what is one thing I'm going to get done today? And you hold yourself to that one thing every day, don't care how big or small what it is, like that alone is going to help you grow. Because that's going to impact over time and you're going to become insanely confident and true to your word to yourself. I love that one. Next question. How can I serve? Or who needs me the most today? This gets your mind in a service mindset and looking at things outside of your bubble, which I think is always good to help, grounding or stay humble or however you want to look at service. And I think service is a very important part of life. So how can you serve today? Maybe you work at a big nonprofit and your whole life's mission and purpose is service. That's great. That's amazing. But let's bring it down. What can you do today? Can I buy my wife flowers? Can I take the kids out to get ice cream? Again, bad example during a pandemic, but that's just what's popping in my head. Who needs you? Maybe you need to serve your team at work. Maybe you're a member of that team and you need to serve just by showing up and being there for your coworkers around you. You don't have to be in a leadership position or in a management position to answer this question. How can you serve? You can serve up, down, left, and right, anything that comes to you. And I think it's really important to get into that frame of that frame of service and giving. Especially if you're doing a practice like this, you're probably already doing something along those lines anyway, whether you're thinking about it or not. The next and final question to help you kick your day off right: what kind of person do I want to be today? I think it's important to pull back and really think about that. Like, hey, how do I want to show up? Who do I want to be? And this, we're starting to get into, the next alignment session, but this is really about congruence. Like, think about your best self. Who are you at your absolute best? Who do you want to be at your absolute best? Set your sights on the pristine version of you as your goal. And if you work towards that day in and day out, every single day, you take steps towards that person. One, that person's going to get bigger as you grow. And then two, you're going to start reaching who you think that person is. If I set the best version of myself today and I keep working, in 3 years, I'm probably going to hopefully reach that version, and there's going to be a next level upgraded version that I'm striving for. So it's constantly moving and adapting to where you can use these questions anytime for wherever you're at on your journey or in life. So what kind of person do I want to be today? And these are 5 examples of powerful questions to start your day off right. Now we're going to move into the questions to help you maintain alignment or get you out of a rut. Maybe you're stuck in a rut and not having such a great day. These questions help pull you out of that. First thing, and this is from my work as a high performance coach, is clarity words. What 3 words define the best of who you are? What is something real quick that can help you align and remind you of your best self and how you want to show up and who you are at your very best? And now you can pick these on a daily basis. You can have these set for your whole life. Whatever works for you. Tailor this to your needs. Right now, my words are engage, vibrant, unstoppable. It's like unstoppable is a huge theme for the show. I think it's extremely powerful word to push out there, and so I'm just embodying all of that. And I love being engaged and present with life. I think that's super important. Just go through the day knocking off tasks, but you're not showing up. Like, you got to be present. And then vibrant, I want to just be alive. It's along the same lines as engagement, but it's more the service that I'm giving in that energetic dance when I'm engaging with people or the activity, and just reminding me to take it up a notch. So your 3 clarity words. And if you have worked with, Brendan Burchard or anybody in the high performance space, you might already have done this, but go take your phone out right now. Not if you're driving, but you're probably not because pandemic. Put it as an alarm in your phone. Put those 3 words as an alarm in your phone during the time of day when you usually hit a slump. For me, it's around 2 or 3 o'clock. So at 2 o'clock, boom, my words pop up every single day. Some days it helps. Most days it helps, actually. It's always a good reminder. Some days I need a little bit more. But either way, it pulls me out of the flow during the day, and it reminds me to pull back and check in with where I'm at. And that kind of gets us to the next question to help keep aligned. What level am I at this moment? Now, that's a pretty broad question, so I like to look at some different areas. Let's say energetically. How am I feeling energetically? On a scale of 1 to 10, right now in this moment, I'm at about an 8. And I'll tell you why I'm at about an 8. Because I was at about a 9 to 9.5 an hour and a half ago when I filmed this episode the first time. And it was like, this was amazing. It was the best episode ever. And I was alive. And then I didn't realize I had an audio issue and it didn't record any of the sound at all. And I had uploaded it and everything, didn't realize it until I ran it through the transcriptor and it spit out nothing. I was like, I was just on a call using the same mic. I was super confused, and I tried to re-record it right away, and it was just falling flat. So I'm like, let's pull back, let's re-energize, take a pit stop, and come back at it. So here we are. So I did a 1 to 10 scale just for that. Maybe emotionally. Where are you at? Maybe this isn't a 1 to 10 scale. Maybe this is just identifying where you're at. What emotion am I feeling? Maybe give that a 1 to 10 scale. Why am I feeling that? Physically, are you tired? Yeah, that's more energetically. Physically, have you been working so hard that you aren't paying attention to the fact that your foot is asleep or that you need to move around? And these are important and they can come up at any time. And usually, when we ask ourselves this question, it's like, what level am I at the moment? And you look through it, you can pretty much tell what you need to work on. This for me is a good gauge. It's like, all right, man, I'm feeling good. Body's feeling good. I'm energetic. Emotions are, in check, stable. I'm doing pretty good. And you're on it, like boom, all the way to the right. That's great. Sometimes when you ask that question, you tend to identify right away, hey, I'm all the way to the right. I feel great. But maybe something's not lined up, and that helps isolate an area that you might need to work on. So sometimes just, hey, what level am I at this moment? And then just leave it at that and see what comes in. See, your body tends to know where you need to focus sometimes if you tune in and listen. All right, the next question to maintain alignment and get out of a rut if you need to is, am I doing my life's work or just busy work? This again nods back to last week's episode of, are we busy or are we being productive? Your life's work, if you're doing your life's work, you're probably being more productive because you're engaged and you're being fulfilled by it and hopefully getting some joy out of it. Or is it just busy work and stuff you have to do? Now, you can't do your life's work all the time, but you can at least frame things to. Like, I don't want to clean all the time. That's not my life's work, but it has to get done. And so it's just busy work. And so I can be busy cleaning, but it's not going to serve me. However, if I let things get too far out of hand, it is going to impact my life in a negative way. So by cleaning and keeping a clean house, for me, and probably for most other people, whether you do it or not, it helps serve you. For me, it's clean environment, clean thoughts. Like, that's just how my brain operates. And that kind of goes into the next question, which I think is really fun, is what am I avoiding? And so it goes into that because I will notice that I will clean when I'm avoiding something. And so usually if you get caught up in your off schedule, a lot of times you might be avoiding something that you knew in the morning you needed to do, but then you're like, I'll take care of it later. Or, you just have kind of dropped some of your discipline along the way throughout the day. That's okay. For me, cleaning is the telltale sign. When I get caught up cleaning things, it's usually when I'm procrastinating or not doing something I need to do. I took the long road for college. I did online classes after work, and it took me like 8 years to graduate. And it was like, nails on a chalkboard getting me to do work. Every week I was waiting until Sunday to do any of the work. I was very rarely on time or ahead in school. It was just not something that I did well in. And at the time, I didn't have the tools that I have now. That was a few years ago. I didn't have the tools or the insight or the self-awareness about that or the care and drive to fix it. Thankfully got the piece of paper, good to go now. But what I noticed looking back is that I always cleaned the house before I worked. And if I sat down on a Sunday morning or even a Saturday morning to get ahead, I would sit down and then I would get distracted and then I would have to clean before I could get anything done school-wise. And so when you look at things like that, you can start identifying the habits that you have developed when you're avoiding something that you probably need to do, even though it's difficult. So that's why what am I avoiding can be a good question sometimes, especially if you're, doing something like a habit or just feeling lost, hey, I don't really know what I need to be doing right now. What are you avoiding? Do that. Next question, last question actually, to maintain alignment and get out of a rut. And this one is big, especially right now for the pandemic. or anytime. I could say that this is probably one of the most important questions, no matter what's going on in your life or anybody's life or in the world, doesn't matter. Am I leading by example? And am I role modeling the way? This is just huge. You have to master that for yourself. I think it's really important for everyone to set the example, especially if you're doing the work and aligning with your ideal self and trying and striving to be the best that you can be every day. I'm not asking any of you to be superhuman. I'm just saying live with some intentionality and you lead by example and role model that, man, you will influence and inspire people more than you know. Notice how you don't reach out and say thank you and tell everybody who impacts your life or everybody who makes a video that you enjoy or get something out of on YouTube. You don't always reach out to every single person. You probably wouldn't have time. So know that you are inspiring people and influencing people whether you realize it or not. So make sure you're doing the work internally like this to where you can lead by example and role model that way. That's it for the maintain and alignment questions. Now we're going to look at getting down to some reflection. And I know we talked about this in a previous episode, but it just really fits in well into this framework. And we didn't talk about some of this specifically. So I think it's really important to add this to your arsenal of questions. So to help you reflect, usually, at the end of the day, obviously, or after an event, maybe the big thing for your day was a performance or a presentation or something that you had to get done. Maybe that's a good time to take 10 minutes and just think through it, reflect. Hey, did I do that well? It's really important because these reflection moments are where you level up and get better. This is where you're I feel it. I know what I did wrong. I know what I did right. Let's do more of that and less of the wrong thing. Good to go. It's super helpful if you're able to turn around, look back on something you did, even get feedback from others and apply that right away, even if just mentally in your head. So first question, what was the best thing that happened today? Just simple. Just hey, what was the best thing that happened today? For me, maybe the best thing that happened was I was humbly reminded to check my audio before I record an entire episode. All right. And then, pretty simple. Again, whatever comes to your brain first. The next question, what did I learn today? It's driving me crazy that I forget who tells this story as a kid, but it's somebody who I've seen speak, and they talk about how every night they went home, they had dinner as a family. People used to do that back in the day. They sat at the table and had dinner as a family, and they had to answer this one question every single day. They had to say, what did you learn today? They had to come up with something and talk about it. And I thought that was really powerful. It just gets you in a really cool reflection mindset. What did I learn today? Because sometimes, again, we go through the day, and we aren't really thinking about that. We aren't super conscious of that. And then you go, what did I learn today? And that keys you up to pull something out of every moment and every day. Next question. What skills do I need to focus more on right now? It's, a great time to look at that. Hey, went through the day, when you do good and when you do bad, you can feel it for the most part. But definitely on the negative side of that is when you don't meet the mark, you know that. You might have exceeded everybody else's mark, but when you aren't doing the best that you can do, And so maybe you need to focus on some areas. So this is a great time to capture that. What do I need to look at and focus on more? Where do I need to grow more intentionally and, level up more intentionally? Where can I maybe take a course in or read a book about to where I can get better at this thing to better everything else, where I'm not reflecting on the same thing over and over again? All right, next reflection question. What did I love about today? If you've worked with me, I ask that a lot. What did you love about today? It's just whatever comes to mind. big, small, indifferent. It might be the same thing as what is the best thing that happened today. It could be in a different mode, but this one's the best thing is just more of like, hey, let's identify something that happened that was good. This is more feeling, like what did I love today? Like what did I get out? And I usually tend to write a lot when I answer this question. And then I also follow it up with how can I get more of that? How can I create more of that? And it really helps me too is after I was doing this for a while, I would notice it in the moment. Like, oh, like this is one of those times that I'm going to talk about. This is what I love today. And so it makes me appreciate it in the moment so much more. And especially 99.99% of the time it's with other people. It helps me appreciate those people even more and show that gratitude and appreciation. So I love this question for that. The last question to reflect on your end of the day. How can I show up even better tomorrow? It's pretty straightforward. I think we captured enough information in the other 4 questions to, help you write that one. And I love these. This is questions, and here's the thing. If you've never done this, it's really fun. I think if you take 2 weeks and just develop your own questions, use questions. There's about 8 million journals that you can go and buy, and they all have different questions and prompts to help you throughout the day. So whatever questions work for you, use those. Make this practice yours and own it. But come up with a system and do it for 2 weeks. And I guarantee you that after 2 weeks, you're going to find yourself automatically asking these questions throughout the day. I know the beginning and the end of the day questions, the reflection questions, and how do I kick the day off questions. I do that with my high performance planners. Like they have 10 questions in there to start your day off, 6 questions to end the day. That really helps. I like asking a couple more, there's some extra space in there. I always have a couple that I like to journal on that helps me. So, expand on it and make it your own, but do it for 2 weeks and then it's going to become automatic and you're going to notice it, especially with the alignment questions. Cause I don't really document the alignment questions because, I have a bank of them. It depends on what the day is going to be. But I do try to come up with like, hey, the congruence ones, the clarity words one, have those. And so I have the sheets up, around the house. I have one sheet like questions. It's going into my bedroom. How was the day? How are you going to show up? Because that's when I transitioned. Usually when I used to drive to work every day, I would come home, walk into the bedroom as part of the afternoon routine, and that's where it would stop. And it'd be like, boom, good check-in point because I'm already in a period of transition from work to home anyway. Great time to check in. So post it someplace that you're going to see it for a couple weeks until it becomes more automatic for you. And then just leave it posted to where you don't fall out of that habit too. So on that note, there's no book recommendation this week. Instead, I really would like to ask you all to take a few moments and develop your own questions. Just 3. Pick one from each category. 1 question to start your day off, 1 question to keep you going throughout the day. I'm going to recommend the clarity words if you haven't done it. And then 1 question to help you end your day. And then go from there. But just start with 1. It's going to help you empower yourself, set the intention for the day. The other question is going to keep you on track when you maybe feel like you slip in the final question. Just use the end. Something to help you align to your best self and just feel good about the day. So write them down. Again, post them someplace you're going to see. And then I'm going to ask one more thing of you. Every week I post the link to the blog and a link to the YouTube video for this episode on my Facebook page. Head over to my page and let us know what your 3 questions are. The goal, I want to create a thread that has the most powerful self questions on the planet to help people get through their day and navigate and be empowered and have a positive mindset. And so I'd really love for you to help me do that. So head on over there, Steven Zavartnik on Facebook. It's the page. This episode's posted up there every week. Throw in there. Thank you all. Again, we got interviews coming soon, so the show's going to be expanding. Working on some media, get some music going on in here, get an intro recorded by somebody else. That way we have a real live up production. I do want to get worksheets. I know I mentioned it last week, but I had some issues on the website piece of it. So once that's actually up and working, I will let you all know. But thanks, everyone. Appreciate your time. I hope you have an amazing week. And I'll talk to you next Tuesday.